Today, we're diving deep into a concept that really gets to the core of what it means to be free. We're talking about the compulsion trap.
You know, we make thousands of decisions every single day, but how many of them are actually our own? I mean, really our own. What happens when a simple, everyday choice, something like sharing a meal with family, suddenly pulls back the curtain on the invisible chains we don't even know we're wearing?
To really understand this trap, well, we've got to look inward. It's time to shine a light on that hidden machinery that's so often running our lives without us even realizing it.
Just think about it for a second. We get jealous, anxious, insecure. We have these bizarre thoughts and fears pop into our heads. But how often do we actually stop and ask, hey, where is this coming from? Most of the time, we just get thrown around by these internal waves, and we end up confused, exhausted, and we never even look for the source.
This metaphor is it's perfect. These unconscious drivers, our fears, our desires, our ego, they're just like vampires. They only have power over us when we're not looking, when they're hiding in the dark. The second we turn the light of our own attention on them, poof, they start to lose their grip.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? How do we shine that light? Well, it turns out there's a simple but incredibly powerful technique for catching our own inner compulsions right in the act.
It's really just a four-step process. First, you just catch the feeling as it's coming up. And then, and this is absolutely the most crucial part, you simply observe it. You don't judge it, you don't try to explain it away, you just watch it like you're watching a cloud pass in the sky. And that very act of observing is what exposes it. And once it's out in the open, you'll see, its power just starts to melt away all on its own. So you see, it reveals this really beautiful, straightforward path. Freedom isn't some crazy, complicated puzzle you have to solve. It all begins with the simple, conscious act of catching yourself.
And this isn't just theory, by the way. This brilliantly shows how it's used in the real world. In the early days of therapy for OCD, before meds were the go-to, therapists used this exact method. A patient would have this powerful, overwhelming fear that, say, if they didn't touch a table, their family would die. Now, instead of arguing, the therapist would shine a light right on that fear. They'd ask, okay, so what if they die? Then what? By forcing the person to confront the ultimate consequence, the irrational power of that compulsion just starts to fall apart.
Now, let's see how this exact idea got put to the test in a real, high-stakes moment. It's like a live case study that just unfolded right in the middle of a discussion about this very topic.
So, picture this. The group is deep in this heavy conversation about freedom and compulsion, and out of nowhere, one person just announces he has to leave for his nightly family dinner. Seems pretty simple, right? A totally understandable statement. Or is it? Well, his friends jumped right on it. They saw the moment for what it was, and they asked him, are you choosing to go because you want to, because it brings you joy? Or do you feel like you have to go? Is this a choice, or is this the trap we were literally just talking about playing out in real life? And that one question, man, it just set off this intense debate. It forced everybody in that room to really break down what separates a genuinely free choice from just another invisible chain. At first, his reason is all about the consequences. It's a rule. My mom's gonna get angry. He even jokes about getting slapped. But notice what he's saying. His reason isn't rooted in his own desire. It's rooted in avoiding a negative outcome. It's being driven by fear, even if it's a subtle one. And this, right here, is the core of it all. A real choice is conscious. It lines up with what you actually value. And, this is critical, it always includes the freedom to say no. A compulsion, on the other hand, feels automatic. It's a habit fueled by some fear you might not even know you have. The telltale sign is that phrase, I have to. And this is where the conversation came up with an absolutely brilliant analogy. Look, there's nothing wrong with wearing pants. But if you feel this intense anxiety, this compulsion that you cannot leave your house without them, then the pants aren't a choice anymore. They're a cage. The issue here isn't the dinner, it's the feeling that he cannot miss it. This is where the stakes get so much higher. His friends basically argued that this isn't just about a 10-minute dinner. If you can't assert your own autonomy in a tiny moment like this, how are you ever going to stand your ground when it comes to the huge life decisions, like your career or who you marry?
And that brings us to the most crucial point. Understanding this trap, it isn't just a fun philosophical game. It's about building the actual architecture of a free, conscious life.
Because all those little moments, the tiny things we do on autopilot every single day because we feel we have to, man, they add up. They become habits. Those habits harden into routines, and before you even know what's happened, those routines have built the invisible walls of your cage, and they're dictating the biggest decisions of your life without you ever consciously agreeing to it.
So the big takeaway is this. Freedom isn't won in some single dramatic moment. It's reclaimed, piece by piece, in the tiny choices you make every single day. It's won by proving to yourself over and over again that you have the power to say no, even to yourself.
You know, at the end of the day, the only freedom that really truly matters is the freedom of your own mind. And that entire journey begins with one simple, but honestly pretty radical act: to watch yourself, to observe your own thoughts, your feelings, your compulsions with an honest and unwavering gaze. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. We all have them. That thing we feel we must do, that small, seemingly harmless routine. What is your 10-minute dinner? And what do you think would really happen if you decided to shine a light on it and just for once made a different choice?